Hello and welcome back to the Bourbon Bar. I'm Holden and today I'm going to be reviewing Remus Repeal Reserve V. So Remus Repeal Reserve V is a bourbon, but it is a bunch of different things blended, and it says right at the front here, the percent of bourbon and rye that's blended in this bottle, and the youngest thing in this bottle is 13 years old, so that's not young at all. And the oldest thing in here is from 2005, so that's a 16-year-old whiskey in the bottle. There's not as much of that in here. The majority is about 54% of the 13-year-old bourbon. But overall, that's remarkably old, and I don't know if you can kind of see how dark this is looking, but it looks very nice, and the bottle is also very nice. It is 100 proof, 50% alcohol, and today I'm going to be giving it a taste. Oh, it smells delicious. So the Remus Reserve has a story behind it, and they have part of that story on the back of the bottle. Prohibition was repealed in the United States with the passage of the 21st Amendment to the United States Constitution. To commemorate the milestone, we created the Remus Repeal Reserve. This 2021 limited edition bourbon, and then it goes into listing some tasting notes, which I don't want to read until after I give my review. I've already had this bottle open for about a week. I just had it once to get into it and let the bottle open up, but now I'll be reviewing it and letting you guys know what I think. So let's get started. So this has very dark fruity notes. It's sweet. You can tell right away that it's sweet. Got a little bit of rye spice in there coming forward. There's a decent amount of rye in the mash bill, but they don't tell me what all the totals for everything are. But you can definitely tell that there's some rye in here. But I'm also getting some syrupy vibes, kind of along the lines of the 1792 bourbon, foolproof bourbon. But yeah, there's a dark fruit, maple syrup. Almost like a strange kind of funk going on in there. I'm not sure what that is, but maybe they'll call something out on the bottle later that says what it is. But a lot of those baking spices and a little bit of nuttiness to it. Surprising because of how old it is, but it kind of has a Wild Turkey 101 type nose to it. Not a lot, but a little bit in there. Just caramel sweetness and dark fruits and baking spices. Reminds me a little bit of the Wild Turkey 101, if I'm being honest. Oh, wow. Okay, so on the flavor, right away on the palate, you're getting some of those baking spices coming forward and touching your tongue a little bit. But as it works through your mouth, it's kind of going more into those dark, fruity, caramely notes that I was talking about on the nose. And you're getting a little bit of that funk that I was talking about earlier in the palate. And finishing, going through, it's ultra sweetness right on the back end as it's coming back up. It's like caramel punch in the face. It's like melted caramel candies or drizzled on top of ice cream and maple syrup on the French toast and cinnamon. I mean, very common bourbon notes in this one, but it's delicious as far as I can tell. So sweet. This bourbon is very, very sweet. surprising with all the rye spice that you're getting on the nose, but through the palate, it's really coming through with that sweet note. It's like a vanilla caramel goodness, and the fruitiness almost isn't as forward as that caramel and vanilla note on the finish of this, but it definitely is there in the smell. I'll go ahead and see what the bottle has for tasting notes on the back of it right away, now that I've had my fun. So this is distilled out of G. Remus Distilling in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Yeah, it is distilled by Remus Distilling, so it's not MGP. So tasting notes, it says dried fruit, rich caramel, maple syrup, roasted nuts, and leather. Leather being that funky note that I was getting earlier. I always have trouble picking that one out. The finish offers candied fruit, caramel, baking spice, and a lingering oaky rye spice. So, I'm not getting much of that rye. I mean, I get the rye spice, but I'm not getting a whole lot of it, as much as I'm getting that sweet, sweet caramel note in there. But in short, Remus Repeal Reserve is the best we make, or as George Remus himself might have said, some damn fine giggle water. Enjoy. So, giggle water is a new way of referring to your whiskey, I suppose. Something that I haven't ever heard of, but apparently that's something he might have said back in the day. Yeah, this is just delicious bourbon. MSRP on this, I think, is around $75 in Wisconsin, where I am, which is what I got it for. I know it came out a while back, and I didn't get a bottle, and I was kind of upset about it. I went into the store earlier this week, and I found a bottle, $75, and there's actually 5 of them. And I was like, man, if I didn't have other things I needed to buy, I would have bought all 5, but I was so happy I found it. And honestly, especially after opening it, I might have to go back and see if there's any left. I doubt there will be any. I'm sure they're all going to be gone by now. But, yeah, this is delicious. Yep, okay. That baking spice I see is coming on the palate a little bit more as a finish retro nasals. And that leathery note that I was getting earlier, that funkiness that I was getting earlier, you can definitely pick out as a leather note now. So overall, they did pretty good on the bottle. So I think I'll give it a grade now. For $75, if you guys can find this at your store, I mean, it's a good bourbon. It's not something that I would buy every time I saw it, but as far as being limited edition, which I think it is, I mean, I think they come out with one a year. I'm definitely excited to see what they would have in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a B+. And the reason I'm giving it a B+ is because if you don't have one, you should buy one. But if you do have one, I don't know if I would exactly buy 5 of them for $75. If I finished this, I would be super disappointed, and I'd want to go grab another one. And I know there wouldn't be any there. But my plan is to probably get to about halfway and then never drink it again until I'm ready to put it in Infinity Blend, or until I have so much whiskey that I need to get rid of some bottles. But yeah, it's delicious. I'm gonna drink it a lot. I like to have that little bit of self-control that allows me to stop before I empty the whole bottle, because otherwise I would have nothing to review for you guys, or put in blinds. So it'll be interesting to see how this compares in my blinds when I start doing them. I have a feeling that between the Remus, the 1792, and the Wild Turkey 101, there's going to be some confusing times in that blind, but it'll be fun to see which ones I put on top, whether this one's first or last place for $75, when Wild Turkey was only $25, and 1792 is only $50. But it is going to be interesting, so you guys can stay tuned for that future video. And if you liked my review, leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section, if you found bottles near you, or if you've had it yet, if you get those tasting notes that I was getting, and subscribe to the channel. Looking to grow and give you guys more reviews and more content, but I can't do that without subscribers. So if you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next class.